Hey everybody, Barry here again. I've been posting videos every third day lately, just to give me a chance to catch up, and I've been extremely busy lately, so it makes it a lot easier on me. So in between videos, I figured I would do like a 3 or 4 minute update, something like that, just to let everybody know what's going on. So here we have it. Now, this is a couple days in advance of the next video, but here's the 6 liter and the 4L80 all bolted in. Now this is in the real early modification stage. I only just got the floor cut out. I had to cut some more of the floor out of the way to get the 4L80 up there because it's like 6 inches wider than the NV3500. That's all done. I don't have my drive shaft done yet. That's still over here on the floor. I've got to cut another 4 inches out of that. I think I'm going to relocate the battery from here over to the frame rail here just to get that out of the engine bay because it's kind of ugly looking. I never liked having the battery up there. And that'll free up a lot of space for other activities. The engine is kind of dirty and ugly, but I don't want to paint it because I'm tired of wasting money on paint when I blow up this many engines. I modified my oil pan. Over here you can see the marks from the welding. I put a baffle in the pan so that oil can run from the back of the engine up to the front down into the sump, but when I get hard into it, oil won't splash to the back of the pan. It'll stay down around the sump. So hopefully that works a lot better. I've sort of narrowed down my issue from the last 2 engines to that because the engines, when I built them, were absolutely spotless. I did reuse all the bearings. I reused rings, pistons, all that stuff, but everything was in really, really great shape. Like there was no brass showing copper or whatever on the bearings. And I did plastic gauge the first one. It was perfect. So my issue obviously was oil because the engines ran perfect. No noise whatsoever until the first time that I gunned into it, got the wheel speed up, got momentum going, lost oil pressure, knock, 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 blew up. Twice. That exact same scenario happened. So I want to make sure that I have like perfect oil pressure. You can see here that the baffle is in front of the sump a little bit so oil can run down here into the pan, but when oil wants to back up, it can't get past that baffle. Now, while I'm in there, I'm going to redo a lot of stuff that I didn't have time to do the last time because I was like 2 days away from a burnout competition. I really, really wanted to go, so I rushed what I could to get it running and moving. That includes the wiring. Everything over here is all wired. Now, I have it here so I can run this in the garage, but battery positive, ignition positive, all this stuff. Everything is all labeled, IAT, everything here. All my outputs are labeled for, you know, torque converter control for the brakes, vehicle speed sensor outputs, everything is all labeled so that when I put this in, I can make one harness, go in through the firewall, clean it up, do a really good job, and then forget about it. Not have wires tangling around everywhere. Mainly the reason I have to do this is because after my harness caught on fire, because everything over here all caught fire and almost burned the battery, you can see that it was starting to melt. It actually melted the battery tray and burned a bunch of my wiring, which I'm not really upset at because it was gross anyway. It needed to be redone anyway, but it did add some extra steps for me that I had to do. Fuel system, I still don't have a gas tank. So if anybody has like a fuel cell that'll work for me, let me know. If it wouldn't cost too much for shipping, I can see if I can buy it off you or something like that if you got one left over, or like something in the 10 to 15 gallon range would be awesome. Or if there's a really small car gas tank that'll work in under this, I can just put my Walbro 450 in the tank and it'd work fine. Also, something that's really, really cool, I think I'm gonna be able to use the van, like PRND shifter. I think it's gonna work perfect because the van and the truck have the same like knob style clip that actually clips onto the cable. It might take a little tiny bit of modification, but I think it's gonna work perfect. All I gotta do is make a bracket to hold the shroud or whatever, the case that the cable is inside of, and then I think it'll work fine. My only issue there is the van has just PRND, whereas the 4L80 has PRND 321, which is not a big deal. I don't use those 3 options anyway, so I'll just put it down in drive, forget about it, and go on. Another really, really cool thing is I wired in the sloppy 3rd gear trans brake spool mod thing, so I'll be able to do trans brake launches on this. I know it's got a stock converter, it's really tight, but if I can get 4 or 5 pounds and get up on the limiter a little bit, or up on the 2-step, then it should launch like really hard. So that's the walk around. I just wanted to give some updates on what I'm doing. Any of the quick videos. I'm putting out a lot of full length videos lately. A lot of my videos have been a half an hour or more, and a lot of people like that, a lot of people don't. So that's why I do these like real quick videos, just to give an update for somebody who doesn't want to sit through watching me work on transmission for a full hour. So I know it can be tedious, but it's all part of documenting this thing, and a lot of people like to see the build. So I'm going to finish it up here. Thanks for watching and subscribing, liking the videos, sharing them, stuff like that. And if you got any suggestions or tips or anything that you want to see me do, just let me know. I appreciate it. Have a good day, everybody.